It's your boy Mike Trigg.
Saba Baptiste.
This is No Losses, Just Lessons.
Yes, here in the Tampa Bay area. So today, Mike, I think a really interesting subject we want to talk about, family values. What are those, and what television shows that used to emulate family values that we could incorporate in our lives?
Well, when you say that, Saba, it just, in my era, it was no better show than The Cosby Show.
All right, that's number one on that list.
Yeah, Cosby Show followed by A Different World. So, and then I think about my children in their era. I don't really know of any shows that emulates that, but what's baffling to me, we'll come back to that, but I have a problem with, like, Tyler Perry, he has all these shows.
Right.
He has nothing emulating The Cosby Show.
That's true.
To the magnitude of, you got two parents that's successful, one's a doctor, one's a lawyer, and you got kids, and it's a real black family.
Right, and we would have thought he would have picked up on that, right, and carried it forward, and what it looks like in the 20s and the 21st century, and how those values elevate itself over time. Right.
And I just think that's the problem. Even like when you talk about the movies, we don't even have movies that's geared towards building good morals and values. Another movie, when I think about it, Major Payne. You know, with Damon Wayans, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Caught the dude trying to steal. You say you want to steal, you want to earn it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that let you know you got to put hard work in.
Right, those lessons.
You know, and Hollywood really, for us, they don't really care.
Right.
In my opinion.
Well.
When I say for us, I'm talking for our culture.
Exactly.
Right.
Culturally, to keeping with the culture, what happened, we thought BET would be the answer, right? BET, we thought the black shows that would be uploaded on BET would mimic good family values and identity with the black families.
Right.
But we found out soon that's not the case. It was a lot of non-family values that we held close to our families, and matter of fact, one of the things we have to incorporate is that it was key to those television shows to help our children relate to good values, education, and know that there's people out there expecting something from them, high standards. And we went through an era of 70, 80, and 90 where mass incarceration was one of those things, a lot of crime, a lot of things. And so
but I think, Saba, when we were at our strongest, culturally, we don't worry about no other race. We just worry about how we represent ourselves.
That's right.
In front of our own.
No, that's right. That's the point.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because I can remember my grandmother, you want to let them down.
Right.
I mean, when people put them nickels together, put you in college,
right,
you couldn't come on with a C.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You had to study. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we need some programming that we can put in front of our kids instead of Atlanta Housewives.
And Disney is not living up to the standard we thought they would as well.
No, they're not. But I mean, it always gonna come back. I always put the blame on our shoulders because like those movies, like I don't know if my kids have seen Major Payne. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I thought that was a good movie. We had movies like Revenge of the Nerds. Good movies. It had a plot to it. You know what I'm saying?
Help them learn life lessons.
Right.
That's right.
And I think that we got to find our way back to that if we're going to come back as a culture. You know what I'm saying?
Before we get so far down the road in this discussion, we want to just say, I think by now everybody have heard what happened to Malcolm Warner. And I just want to just read a little bit and tell you, because you might not know how he died. When he drowned, he was with his daughter. He and his daughter both were swimming, and the lifeguard was able to save the daughter by giving her one of the boards that pulled outside the water. And so by the time they turned to go get him, he was rendered lifeless. They tried to resuscitate him for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And all of this happened in Costa Rica while he was on a family vacation. So the autopsy was done 2 days later, and it was confirmed asphyxiation by drowning.
Right.
Yeah, and he ties into the show you just mentioned, Cosby Show.
Yeah.
The number one family-oriented show, but specifically black families that we all sat down to watch. And in some ways we emulated that family.
Tried to.
Right, and some of the values that Cosby Show enhanced for us was unity, family unity, education, using humor, tying it all together to show you can do this, you know. And as Mike mentioned, father was a doctor and the mother was a lawyer.
Right.
And so those things are very doable, and we see them still in families today. Not as much as it should be, but it is in our family culture.
Right. But what I like about the Cosby Show, when you talk about that, it was that Theo was a struggling student. Vanessa was a struggling student.
Right.
The older girl, she was a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? And Denise definitely was a struggling student. So it didn't just say we lawyers and doctors, we're going to have these great, our kids will be great just like us.
Right.
It gave you the realness of our, so we can identify with that.
Yeah, so you can work towards it.
So
you can work your way out of anything, any situation.
But I hate that for Theo, Malcolm, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know the landscape in Costa Rica. I don't swim in nothing that don't have a bottom that I can see. I go to the beach if it's a party, I hang out. I'm not getting in the water. I just don't do stuff like that. And I tell my kids, you know, they're young, they're invincible in their mind. And I just say, no, we don't do stuff like that. But I said prayers for his family. When you grow up with people like that, man, you almost feel like their family. You know what I'm saying?
They're like the guy next door. He was definitely like the brother next door, you know. And to lose him in that way with his family, with his 8-year-old daughter, swimming next to him.
That's tough.
That's really tough.
So, Sab, I got to ask you a question though.
Sure.
Like, you know, so what we're talking about, we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, the television programs that were put out today that's not helping us be the best version of us as a culture.
Right.
So, what can we do other than showing? Because you can streamline, you can go get on Fire Stick and pull up Different World in the Cosby Show. But as far as saying like, Tyler Perry is our guy right now.
Is he our guy?
Well, you know what I'm saying? He's in position to be our guy.
Okay,
you know
that's better said. Right, he's in position to be our guy.
And Tyler got some good stuff out there, but we need the Cosby Show. We need something like that.
Right, so what can we do? If television is not meeting our demand or answering, we could start by identifying what we want. You know, we have to tell them what we want, what we will participate in, we will engage in, because frankly, Medea to me is probably the last time I watched anything Tyler Perry had done, and that became boring very fast. And so how do we bring back those days of a tradition where we have family programs, where all of us as a family can sit down and watch them, and it has a value, a lesson? You know, Proverbs and teaching them parables about life. That's we have to tell them what we want, and if they don't give it to us, we have to look for somebody else to give it. But I'd like to say this though about it. I like to say, we have to do our own research. We have to be on top of things. And like you just you mentioned Cosby Show, but don't forget Cosby Show is not airing anymore.
No, but you can still find it on on the Fire Stick.
You still can?
Yeah. And Different World.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So because one of the things just before Mr. Warner met his fate, he talked about how hard hit having the Cosby Show taken off of the air, it really hit his pocket and all of his co-stars' pockets. So
right.
because they're not paying royalties anymore, and that was a big hit for him. So I just like to put that out there. But you know, one of the things that I would say, we got to activate. If we want these things, we have to demand these things.
I think,
and not participate in the things that doesn't have our values.
Right, but I think that this is the best version of activation that we can do right now.
Right.
You and I, and Wendy producing this podcast for us. But I just think that, you know, I'm expecting my son Shane is having his first child.
Right.
And, you know, so it's going to be times where I'm probably going to crank that fire stick up and keep those old movies going to archives just to show. Absolutely. This is what we got to do. You know, if they got some current movies that I deem that can help my kids, my grandchildren understand life and can bring a value to them, then we'll watch those movies.
Exactly. Let me ask you this, since you asked me a question. So I think activating, doing research, doing what you just said, have to go back in the archives and have those things there. Is it clear, since we're talking about the black family, is it clear that they have values? What values are they instilling? Because it has to meet somewhere, right? So
can I interject? I just think that our value system today is nowhere near what it used to be and what it should be.
The question.
Okay, and this is the reason why. Because you see kids today, you know what they institute today? They call themselves YNs.
What's that?
Young niggas.
Wow.
So I'm just so they answer the YNs, and then now we can't even have that because now I see some on Instagram about YCs, young crackers. Wow. They want everything, even if it's bad, they want it. If we got it, they want it. So my thing was, my grandkids in Georgia, I got some for them, but for my grandson, I got YK and YQ. You know what I'm saying? Why are we selling we want to be called a young nigga instead of a young king or a young queen? That's in the inner city all over the world.
Wow.
That's a YN right there. That's a YN. Look at that YN right there. I'm like, when I hear that, it just...
Okay. So let me just counter that and just let you know on the 2030 census that's coming out, we black people, there's a movement, a real movement that we're being reclassified as foundational black Americans. That's a real delineation specific to the chattel slavery, the descendants of chattel slavery.
Right.
That's the kind of education they really need to understand why we are even in America, you know? So if that's catchy like that, who's making that catchy? Because
in the city, the kids that don't have their parents, they don't have the value system that you and I have. So they may say, come here, YN, you know what I'm saying? They may refer to their child as that. And it's
wow, the parents would refer to their kid.
I'm not saying...
Assuming, I got you.
But I'm just saying, when you hear it so often, if you drive in the city, I hear it. When I pick my goddaughter up from school in West Tampa, I hear it. When I'm in East Tampa, I hear it. And it's sickening to me because you can take another letter and just give us so much promise. You know what I'm saying? But you chose
king, young queen. Yes. Right. But but that speaks to the value system, right? Like you just said, that speaks. It just has declined. Right. Because nobody should want to be called an N-word on any capacity, joking or otherwise, and you should never answer to those negative stereotypes. Right. And we keep putting those things in there. So the point that I was making, foundational black American, when they get to the census, will they even know that's who they are?
Yeah, I've always been a black American.
It's called foundational black American, right?
No, I've always.
Right, I'm just saying you're right. But do they know that? Right. Because if they're degrading themselves or undermining themselves by thinking they are N-words.
Yeah. It's just like it's
So do you? I hear what you're saying. You're saying these programs, since they could be everywhere, we need those type of television programs to be in their living room on their phones now.
At this point, Saba, we've gone without it for so long. I don't even know if it's with a help. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if the kids they're not gonna sit down and watch on Thursday at 8 o'clock. Watch a program. Everybody in junior high, we're gonna watch the Cosby Show because we're gonna talk about it the next day in school. In between classes, there's a different word behind that.
Right.
So I don't think these kids even care enough. I mean, we were thirsty for education because we knew education was our way out.
Yes.
And these kids today, they just like delusional. They don't understand. You got to put some in to get some out.
That's right.
And I mean, so, you know, we put the podcast out there to try to hopefully get in the right hands. Somebody sit their kids down and show them this and say, you got to do it this right here. You know what I'm saying? But are they going to do it?
So, to your point, you're right. It seems like it's so difficult to reach our youth these days. Like they're caught up in another world, you know. Another program that I think we all have enjoyed, and it had a message. It's called Family Matters. You know, you know, with Urkel.
Right.
Yeah, and it talked about it's not a crime to be smart, right? Right. It talked about respect, diversity, and community. And you're looking at a woman that she stays home, take care of the kids, and her husband is a police officer, a chief of police, I think, something high level. And Urkel is the visiting neighbor, and he's actually a genius, but he doesn't look like it because he wears pants high up to his chest. He has these glasses on. But again, it showed that we come all different kind of ways, and we should be respected.
Just the same thing with Revenge of the Nerds. You know what I'm saying? Similar things. But I'm going to tell you, that's some other shows, and these are white shows, but Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay.
That was Gaither High School for me.
Okay. Okay.
I ain't going to tell you no lie. It was. But it was a real show. Wonder Years was a great show.
Yes. Wonder Years was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, I mean, it's not so much that even those shows showed you a value system.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And that's what we got to get back to. You know, they got the Shy. It has a value system, but it's close on the fence. It's on the fence.
What was the name?
The Shy.
I don't know.
It's a good program. They're doing some good writing on that.
Okay.
But it shows a lot of, you know what I'm saying, it shows
a lot of things been introduced that normally.
So even like nothing was introduced. Wasn't no kissing and carrying on the TV when we were watching it. But you know, I understand now. You know, you can see everything. Social media. You know what I'm saying. The Shy is a program that if you watch that with your family, you have to, because you got to explain some things to them. You know what I'm saying? But it still got a lot of killing in Chicago. A lot of gang banging. You know what I'm saying? But it still has some good parts of it. But you really, that's what we got to come to, in my opinion, because that's the society today. So you got to be able to sit there with your children and explain things. Yes, listen, I know you're seeing this. That's not what we're about. We're about that part of it. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that and want God to bless you. You know what I'm saying? Being a gangbanger, killing somebody, but you can be an owner of Smokies, the barbecue shop.
Let me ask you this. That's interesting that you point that out. I haven't seen the show, but one of the things that I think is such a negative when we talk about gang banging, crime, it seems like we're putting a color on it, and it's always that color. So when we talk about sociology, and we talk about sociology in a way that if it's high crime, that means low jobs. There's no jobs in there. It's a poverty community. So do we explain that to our kids, where the reason why these things are happening, instead of, and here's another thing, because some people might think that's just how black people behave. But there's a reason for anybody's behavior. And not that they should result into crime, but that's a reason. They're fighting over the limited resources that's in that community. So do we really have deep conversations that same person there that you see fighting, like in Drive-By, what they call Franklin in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That if you take him out of that environment, perhaps, and give him other things to engage in, he'll probably be a bank president or an engineer.
Right.
But and so we keep telling our kids, don't be that person, correct? Stay away from those people. But those people look like us, so if they're in the community and they're fighting over limited resources, then there's something else we need to do too. Just teaching our kids and also trying to change those things that's happening in that community. And that's just who we are as a culture of people.
Right, but I don't believe that there's really limited resources. I think that if you gang banging, that's a choice. You know what I'm saying? This was a middle class black neighborhood. And when I came here, it was a gang kind of, had a gang area, whatever. But everybody that was in the gang, nobody forced them to be in there. They chose to. It's some guys, some kids that was from the community. They got their own business right now, lawn services and everything, car washes. You know what I'm saying? From this same neighborhood. But you see those guys that want to be gang bangers, they still hang on the corner, around the corner, not around here anymore. But they chose that life. Right. So it comes down like to the reason why we're saying about the television shows, because those television shows, the Cosby Show in different ways had a profound effect on my life. And it propelled me to want to go to college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I lived Beverly Hills 90210 at Gaither High School. Okay. Predominant white school, kids had a lot of money, whatever. You know, and so, yeah. So,
and I hear what you're saying, but the science of sociology also speaks, and to your point, you're also right that sometimes a gangbanger is going to be a gangbanger no matter where you put him.
Right.
That's a true fact.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I can remember working as a young man. I had a lot about my age. I got a job at Burger King. I was 13.
How back at 13?
I lied. I was supposed to be 14. OJT. I just had to have some money. So I got a job. Come on. I got a job at Burger King. And if my mom had told me, took me to the bank when I got my money, my check, and opened an account, ain't no telling where I would have been with those morals and values, but I wasn't in her. You know what I'm saying? So I would buy a pair of shoes and just give her the rest of my money. You know what I'm saying? But so even with Mike, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have much. So with Mike being the only kid that I raised in my house every day, right? I didn't do a good job of teaching him how to value money, but I taught him hard work. You understand? He seen me work 3 jobs. He seen me be a provider, and he seen me spend money because anything that he wanted, I was gonna get. Over here, ma'am. Pretty good to you. Anything he wanted, I was gonna provide for him as his father. You know what I'm saying? So when he got his NIL money, I said, "Hey man, you need some help with this?" He said, "No, I got it, Dad." But if I had modeled better behavior, he'd have modeled better behavior. So it always gonna come from the parents.
I agree.
You know, so like, you know, I just think God had a calling on my life in particular. You know, I grew up in the projects. I was a great athlete, and I had coaches that kind of shunned me from the inner city life. Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And back then, these kids were entitled. If somebody gave you a helping hand, it was like. It was gold. Yeah, you showed them respect. Yes. You showed them respect. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So
by honoring that benefit.
Now I can say this. You know what I'm saying? The Jaguars organization is a black organization. And come on, young lady. Yeah, over in Nucio. Okay. There was Nucio, not in Kinley Park, but they train up some good young men to be successful. And they got good moral values. They work them hard. But it has to translate better, right? Into being more of a pillar of the community. You know what I'm saying? Because they play football like no other. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? When I coached, not only did we play football, but we had community service programs, And we always try to give back, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean.
These are really good conversations because we got to bring our people back to the table to establish their values so that they can have them in their families and they can transport them into their kids. Because and what we're saying that the shows that made us think, gave us the vision to think about the future and what we could become, they are not out there plentiful like they used to be.
Okay, so now, so let's just put our feet in their shoes today.
Okay.
Why do you think they're game banging? That's all they see.
That's the point.
Why do you think they're scheming? That's all they see.
That's it.
And that's what society want to put out there for us.
Right.
So you got to have strong parents and coaches to say, no, that's not it. That's what I say. They need to watch this side with somebody responsible and say, no, we don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they expect us to do. We got to do it this way.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. So yeah, that's true. We having this real culture kind of devaluing system now because we're not able to show them the right way to do it, modeling the right way to do it. And guess what? Another problem we're having, maybe their parents are the ones who only sing gangbanging too, because they're younger. You were the one who opened my eyes to Shihat, where they had teen parents. Most of them was teen parents. Yeah. My first teaching job was at Robles, and everybody, I had a class, I had 30 kids at Robles in one class, first grade class, and I would say, by the show of your hands, whose mom in here is under the age of 20? The whole class. Wow.
The whole class. So that means they were 6. They were 6, so everybody was
6
born,
years old. Right.
Everybody was born at 14, 13.
Whoa.
So as she had, and I can tell you, Dr. Tate and Ms. Royal, we had a help room for the younger parents because they needed help with the lessons.
Exactly.
Because they didn't finish school.
Wow. And see, that's an eye-opener. That's not longer. So that's a generation raising kids that maybe have not exposed their kids to this.
I always say that the kids that I taught at Robles, and I'm not putting out there that was a tax era. We was doing all these illegal taxes in Tampa, and then my kids have graduated. Those kids are out of school now. They finished or they out of school.
Right.
And I think they did the unemployment tax scam. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't educate themselves accordingly. I have my kids at James. They'll come in, Mr. Trigg, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. The ones that's going to be, because they know I didn't play with them.
Right.
But then I had a couple that I fell through the cracks, and I called them. When I seen them, I said, what's up? They hit their head, and I said, no. I said, it's a marathon, you got time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just try to lift them up. But it's on the fathers, the mothers, and the community, the villages.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the football programs are the village. The Jaguars are the village.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta pour more into these kids if we want more out of them.
Right. And so so far we have exhausted the Cosby Show, Family Matters, and then we have this one that was reared by, it appeared to be a single parent, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and went to live with his mother family, his sister family, and they talked about the identity, identifying who you are as a person, belonging to a family or a group, and the growth of intellect. How are you going to transition from a child to an adult, and what values are you going to take along with you? So that was a very popular show.
Yeah, well, those same values. It's a white coach, Italian coach, Dominic Sal. He coaches at Berkeley Prep.
Okay.
And man, I love him because he loves my nephew.
Right.
He's a great coach though.
Right.
But when Mike was considering going to Berkeley Prep, Mike's sophomore year, the only reason why we didn't go is because we played for the state championship as a sophomore. We had a good team coming back.
Okay.
But Dominic Sal said that he believed that you can bring a D student to Berkeley Prep
I can see that.
And you put them with AB students, they're gonna become AB students.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and so this dude got a phenomenal brain and his approach to kids. Man, it's just he's great for not only for Berkeley but for the Bay Area.
Yes,
if you ever get a chance to rub elbows with him, you know you're gonna have a great conversation. He's so sarcastic. It's so funny. He don't even know. Man, I gotta tell you the story. So I'm at the practice watching my nephew his freshman year.
Right.
They got this senior over here. I can't think of his name, but he played defensive back. So this year, he's senior, he's fielding punts.
Right.
And so the coach come down and say, "Hey, Bullard, what are you doing?" I'm feeling punts, coach."
Right.
"Oh, okay. What year are you?" "I'm a senior, coach." You know, everything's redundant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Well, did you do that last year? "No, sir." "What about the year before that?" "No, sir." "Well, just go do what you did last year." You know what I'm saying? That shit was so funny to me, man. And that is who he is. You know what I'm saying? The dude, "Yes, sir, coach."
Yeah.
Man, we're not reinventing the wheel because we're a senior. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I mean, that was a coaching moment that some coach would have said, "What you doing down here?" You know what I'm saying? Got on his butt. Right. He just convicted him.
Right.
You know, I said, no, we got somebody to do that already. You know, so I mean, but that's what, and it builds. They got respect for dominant style.
Building character.
Yes. Because he held him accountable. "Hey, dog, did you do that last year? Do what you did. Did I change it? Did I change it to do this?" Right? That's what it was, man.
You're good at the other things, so go back to it.
Right. That's it, you know.
Well, what we're really talking about is the television shows that supported and motivated families and the children, the value systems. And our value system has been questionable over the last 20 years.
It has.
It really has been questionable, really. Yeah. Now, I'm going to talk about one show that kind of predates everything we talked about, the 80s and 90s. Right. That's Good Times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good Times was a show that was all about two things. It was a struggling family where it was poverty, but they held a strong family unit. Yeah. The mother worked at menial jobs, the father worked at jobs, and they had 3 kids. Thelma, because Thelma was like the love actress that most men remember.
Thelma Delano.
Yes. And that's where Janet Jackson, one of her first appearances is on there as well.
How you guys doing?
Hi. And so Good Times was relatable to a struggling, impoverished, and dealing with racism at every level that they had, but they kept that family unit. And also they struggled with disappointments. Right. Yeah, through life, but they held it together.
Through prayer. Florida always prayed. Right. And so I really can relate to that. When we left Carver City and stayed with my mom at Cutler's Arms housing projects. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Lights went out a couple times, you know what I'm saying? So it was some rough times. One of my favorite meals was rice and gravy. You know what I'm saying? That 30 weight gravy, hide the rice. It was just, those hard times. And
30 weight gravy.
What we call it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the city, you know something about that. You know. But so Good Times, and you know, we scream Good Time right now too. Right. You can find it. So but so even with hard as it was, the belief in the Lord was gonna make a way. Yes. And hard work. And you're not gonna do this, you're gonna do that. They pushed the kids with the talents. JJ he always had pay everything. They made sacrifices for where they pushed their kids with his talent. Right.
Whatever we needed, they made the sacrifice. We'll find a way. We'll make a way.
So parents don't understand. Today's parents don't understand that you're forfeiting so many blessings from God. Amen. By trying to get your kids to go do something the wrong way. Right. Shortcuts. I've never seen the righteous forsaken or his descendants begging bread. That meaning if you live a certain way, your kids get the benefit of the doubt.
I agree. You
know, so that's one of my favorite parables. But I'm just telling you, man, we're gonna stay at this podcast. We're gonna stay trying to put some good content out.
Yes.
And I hope that you guys are receiving what we're trying to put out for you. And
yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because I truly love us. I love people, and I want to be a help to everybody. So if we're putting something out and that you agree with it, subscribe to the podcast and kind of pass it around to your family, man. And try to get a family night, man, where you can get your kids in there. You know what I'm saying? Them YKs and YQs in there, sit down and eat some popcorn and watch a program together and see how that might be the start of some good for your family.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, something positive. And like Mike was saying, I love people, I love families, but my specialty, my specificity is to be a part of positivity for the Black family, because that's going to be our legacy. Our legacy, our lineage, all of that comes into play if we can survive and thrive. And our kids are supposed to do, each generation they're supposed to do better. They're supposed to have better moral values. They're supposed to set up the system that their children will benefit from it. So if these television programs is out there, please do what Mike suggested. Find them and have a television night and replace those negative acronyms, YN.
I'm going to tell you this too. And if you are watching a movie, a program that's, you know what I'm saying, got some gang banging in it and, you know what I'm saying, some things that's inappropriate, some things that you want your kids to do, it's okay. Watch it with them.
And explain it.
Explain what's going on. You know, because some kids, oh yeah, that's cool. No, it's not cool.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you see that, then when they watch those programs, they'll know for themselves. No,
that's
man,
right.
That's not it.
Right, that's not
you know
it. Right, and also change behavior. The way you know your kid is understanding how you explain it to them, if they have some other ideas, you'll see a change behavior.
Right.
And keep them moving on that positive behavior, because that reflects in school. There's no other bigger social community or platform than them going to school.
Right.
And they have to be able to understand what it is to be taught and to be able to learn and have better outcome for their lives. And it starts from the parent to the school and their community. So thank you for listening to us this week. Thank you.
Yeah, hey.
Yes.
On the road.
Yes, take care, Tampa Bay. Next time.
Yes, sir.